here's Brody Brazil.
Hey, hopefully you've already got the phone number memorized or saved in your phone. It's easy, 1-833-4-BRODY. If you've got something to say, give me a call, leave a great voicemail. If it's good, I'll use it here on the YouTube channel.
Hi, Brody. This is Kevin from Shirley, Massachusetts, lifelong Red Sox fan. I'd like to comment, as I'm sure some others probably are saying, that our president has suddenly decided to interject himself into something that we had thought had long since been settled, and that's concerning the nicknames of Washington's NFL team and Cleveland's MLB team, which whose previous iterations were considered offensive to Native Americans. That and would is particularly concerned Washington and the new stadium proposal for the RFK site. Would he actually be an obstacle to that particular deal, considering that Congress has oversight over what the District of Columbia does? Second, I bring out a couple other examples. The Edmonton CFL team, you might recall, had to change their name a few years back from a name that's considered a slur to the Inuit people of northern Canada. They're now called the Edmonton Elks. But I also want to bring up Atlanta's MLB team, I propose that they bring up a name from their long storied history and rename themselves the Doves, which dates from a few years during their Boston days. And certainly a name appropriate for Atlanta, given that it was home to two Nobel Peace Laureates, Dr. King and President Carter. I'd like to know what you think about both of those subjects. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Kevin, thank you for dropping a political bomb here on my YouTube channel. I can already feel the heat and the tension in the comment section down below, and I haven't even published this video yet. No, actually, Kevin, in all seriousness, I'm glad you called. I kind of wanted to talk about this topic, but equally, I'm so confused by this. I don't know the insights that I can actually bring to the conversation because I don't even really understand, to your point, Kevin, why this is coming up here and now, and why specifically it's coming from the President of the United States. If it were senators from different regions across the country, or if it were politicians that were localized and had a connection to Cleveland or a connection to the Washington Commanders, I mean, isn't President Trump a New Yorker by heart? Shouldn't some of the New York teams be his football teams that he's passionate about? So I don't understand the connections. I don't understand the timing of this. Again, the point that maybe it was settled years ago and we've moved on. And I'll talk about what the Guardians have said in their response to potentially changing the name back. But I don't understand a lot of things here about why this has come up now and what's the specific urgency and the motive. Is it some of it the RFK Stadium deal? President Trump's obviously very well aware of the team trying to work with the District of Columbia and trying to revitalize the stadium site, build a brand new stadium for the football team. I totally understand it. If that's the explanation, then maybe I understand it more, but then how does it relate back to the Cleveland baseball team? It's just so out of the blue. It doesn't make sense. There's no real tie. I can't figure out the path of how we even all got to this conversation, nor why the President of the United States is so interested. Again, if it were some others and certain circumstances, and if I could clearly see the path, then I guess I would understand it more. That's the first thing I want to mention. The other thing I want to mention is that teams like the Guardians, they've already come out to say they have worked so hard. They've already moved on from their change, and they understand there was a lot of back and forth politically about the decision they made to change to the Guardians. And at the time, not everybody agreed with that. But now they've said, we've worked so hard to try and have our new brand and identify with it. We're just not going to change back. Now, that's the deal with Cleveland's baseball team. With the Commanders, they want something from D.C. Again, maybe I understand more of the Commanders' side of this and how they're getting sucked into the conversation more so than Cleveland and the baseball team is. The Commander Stadium, as far as I know, and your question was, well, does the president really have authority here? From what I can understand, not directly. I'm not so sure that even though he is the president of the United States, I don't think any president has the authority to stop this or entirely shut it down directly. But indirectly, I do believe that Donald Trump has the ability to probably make this quite difficult for the Commanders. There is so much political clout, especially with President Trump and the Republican Party, that they could probably put a stop to this. There's enough people and the proximity of these people to what's going on here in terms of the Commanders. Yes, I do believe that it could be a lot more difficult, this process. And that's why I'm paying attention to this, right? This is no longer a conversation of change your name. No, we're not going to do it. This is not like the Cleveland baseball team who doesn't want or need anything. This is the Commanders who want and need something. And now there's been kind of a hard line drawn in the sand of, well, you need to change your name. Otherwise, we're not going to make this happen for you. We'll see if that's just talk or speculation or distraction from something else. We don't know that part yet. Now, in terms of I'll just close it out by saying, personally, I'm not a fan of some of the names that are still out there and groups of people that might find them offensive. But I'm also here to say that it's not my decision to make. I didn't make these teams' names, but I also realize I could not support those teams with names that might be questionable. I could also not use those names if I don't want to. Nobody's forcing me to. I don't have to wear apparel with their logo on it. I don't have to endorse it. I don't have to propagate it. I don't. And so I think that's as far as I'll take it. I agree. Some of the changes that have been made, I'm totally fine with them. I think they make sense. But if you're asking me, should more teams be changing their names, and it's beyond me. I'm not going to say that I am going to tell them what to do and change their name. But I will say in some cases that I don't really enjoy their names and I don't feel even comfortable repeating all the names on occasion. So I don't. But I'm also not going to stop what's going on. That's for people at a much higher pay grade. And you know what? If politics goes to sports and these two combined and they conflict and eventually more teams change their name, then that's how it happens. But it's not because a YouTuber says they like or dislike a team's name. Anyway, wanted to cover that. Hopefully that makes sense. Just spelling that one out. I'm really trying to stay away from the political fire that I know is already burning down in the comment section below, because I just wanted to keep this kind of to a sports angle. That's basically what this is all about, although it does involve some real life, and hopefully I could add to that too. Let me know what you think down there. Be careful, be kind, be sensible. Thumbs up for this video. Appreciate that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I definitely love to see you back here next time.